It's about this guy, Jin, and his life is completely nuts. So listen to this. Every single morning, he wakes up as a completely different person. I'm serious. One day he's an old dude, the next he's a little kid, sometimes he's even a young girl. His whole body, his face, his voice, even his eyesight, it all changes. He even becomes a foreigner sometimes and just like automatically knows how to speak Chinese or Japanese. It's wild! Because of this, his apartment is just full of stuff. He's got clothes for guys and girls, shoes in every single size, a million pairs of glasses. He has to, right? He's a furniture designer, which is a pretty sweet gig for him because he can do it all online and doesn't have to show his face. The only people who know his secret are his mom and his best friend, this guy named Sang. Sang is awesome. He helps Jin with the furniture business, basically dealing with all the customers so Jin doesn't have to. So one day, Jin wakes up and he's this super handsome guy. And Sang is like, dude, we are not wasting this face. We're going to a club. So they go out, have a great time, and Jin even goes home with this girl. But then, get this, he wakes up the next morning and he's an old man. Total disaster. He has all these videos on his laptop of every face he's ever been. He tells us this whole thing started 12 years ago when he was 18. They show a flashback and you see him wake up, look in the mirror, and he's a total stranger. He's completely terrified. He tells his mom and she's shocked, but she's just like, I'm so sorry, and helps him handle it. But he had to drop out of school, which totally sucked while all his friends were living normal lives. The story of how Sang found out is hilarious. He goes over to Jin's place and this random middle-aged woman answers the door and offers him food. Sang thinks it's Jin's mom. But then Jin's actual mom shows up. Super awkward. To prove she's really Jin, Sang starts quizzing her with all these secret questions that only Jin would know. And she gets every single one right. Sang's mind is blown, but then he just starts laughing. After that, they were even closer. They go to clubs and just laugh about it all the time. One time, Jin is a girl, and Sang jokingly asks him, so, since you're a girl today, can we? And Jin is just like, dude, control yourself. Anyway, they find out the boss at their old company is stealing Jin's design, so they're like, forget that guy, and decide to start their own company called ALX. Jin designs the furniture, and Sang hires people to sell it. It's the perfect setup. So then one day, Jin goes into this furniture shop, just looking around, and this girl who works there, Sue, sees him. She comes up to him and is like, can I help you find something? And Jin says, yeah, I need a chair that makes me feel like I'm sitting on a horse. What a weirdo, right?
Jin, right?
But that's
and his
where it all
life is
starts.
totally not normal. Like every time he wakes up, he's in a totally different body. Guy, girl, old, young, straight up wild. Anyway, one day he's talking to this girl, Sue, and she shows him this company called ALX, hyping it up like this place is the best. And surprise, turns out it's his own website. Jin's like, wait, I can just promote myself like this? And Sue just laughs it off. No biggie. So here's the thing. Jin keeps showing up at Sue's shop all the time. But because he's got a new face like every day, Sue doesn't even realize it's the same dude. And guess what? He totally falls for her. Hard. Starts hoarding her business cards like a total simp and keeps visiting her in different forms, pretending to be a new customer every time. Then one day, boom, he wakes up as a super handsome guy, like model level hot. So he strolls into her shop again and finally works up the guts to ask her out. She's like, nah, I don't think so, but he's all awkward and honest and tells her he's been practicing asking her. That kind of gets her, and she agrees. He buys him dinner and tries to take her to this secret spot, which she's not cool with at first. So he gives her his secretary's number and is like, look, I'm not some weirdo. If I act shady, report me. She goes with it, and surprise, it's the ALX factory. Like his workplace. They have dinner there, super chill, and he drops her off afterward. Everything's smooth, and they even make plans to hang again. But here's the twist. If Jin falls asleep, boom, new body. So he's like, oh, no, and sets alarms every hour just to stay awake. He's basically doing everything he can to not pass out so Sue doesn't see him switch. They meet up again the next day, all fun and flirty, and Sue asks about his job. He just says he's a furniture designer, plays it cool. But then this other guy, Sang, shows up, and Jin has to hide. Sue and Sang leave, and Jin stays behind, trying to keep himself awake like a total zombie. Anyway, next day they hang out again, but Jin this like absolute death because he hasn't slept in days. And then disaster. He nods off on the bus while dropping her off. When he wakes up, bam, he's a middle-aged dude, total panic. He sees Sue waiting for him, but he can't even go near her, like no way would she recognize him now. And then he just dips, doesn't pick up her calls, just sends a sorry text. He's super down, thinking, well, this is it, game over. But Sue texts back like, where are you? I waited. So Jin's like, okay, I have to tell her everything. The next day he wakes up as a girl and meets Sue again, and Sue's like, I know everything. Come with me. She takes him to the ALX factory and Jin just spills everything. Shows her videos, all the different faces, all of it. Tells her that every morning he wakes up as someone else, sometimes even a different gender. And all those days she spent with someone, yep, that was him. Every time. Sue freaks, like leaves freaks, but she can't shake him off. Days go by. She's still thinking about him, and finally she goes back to the factory. This time Jin's a Japanese woman, but invites her in. Sue hits her with a serious one. If you really care about me, then prove it. Let me see you change. And Jin's like, okay. They sleep and she watches him change into someone else. Wild. While they're talking, she finds out he's 29, same age as her. She asks why he picked her, and Jin just straight up says, I was used to being like this, but after I met you, I couldn't pretend anymore. Boom. Emotional damage. They fall asleep. And guess what? Next morning, Jin wakes up as that same handsome guy she first liked. Sue's there, smiling. Totally okay with everything now. They're finally on the same page, totally in love, and just to make sure she always knows it's him, no matter what, she gets a tattoo on his neck. Cute, right? And that's how this super weird, super sweet love story ends, with them being happy, together, and totally owning their crazy
party
reality.
with Sue, right? But boom, bad luck. He wakes up as an old woman. Total nightmare. He tries so hard to sleep it off and maybe change again, but nope, no dice. Meanwhile, Sue's at the party solo, looking stunning, but super awkward. Everyone else showed up with their partners, and people are whispering like, yo, where's her mystery boyfriend? Because let's be real, everyone's seen her hanging around with a bunch of different guys and girls, all Jin, of course, but they don't know that. Then, get this, a random guy walks up to Sue and holds her hand exactly the way Jin told her he would. Boom. She knows. Everyone at the party just stares, jaws on the floor, especially her boss who's like, what the heck is going on? Next day, Jin wakes up as a girl again and takes Sue to meet his mom. And his mom, she's so sweet and thanks Sue for sticking by her son, even though, well, her son changes into different people daily. No biggie. Then Jin starts thinking, should I propose? Like, for real? And he spends days making a wedding ring all by himself, super cute. But while that's happening, Sue's talking to a doctor about, everything. The doctor's like, girl, you're stressed out of your mind, and gives her meds for anxiety and depression. Now Jin's back as a handsome guy, and Sue tells him, I love being with you, but I wish you were just normal. Jin's like, would you marry me? And she doesn't answer. Oof. Later, while dropping her off, he asks again. This time she tells him to stop the car. Sue goes off. She's like, marriage isn't some casual thing. When I was supposed to tell my family that my fiance literally wakes up as someone new every day. And she doesn't stop there. She says he only thinks about himself, and she doesn't even recognize him half the time. She's like, your shoes, your face, your voice, he's always changing. How do I tell the world this is Jin? Jin gets it. It hurts, but he gets it. Sue hops in the car, totally overwhelmed, and pops some of those pills. But things go downhill fast. She ends up in the hospital. Turns out she took too much medication and collapsed. Jin finds out and hears everything from the doctor on Sue's phone, and suddenly it hits him. He's the reason she's like this. She's sick because of all the emotional chaos he's dragged her through. Next morning, he's a girl again, chilling with his mom, and she drops a bomb. Jin's dad had the same condition. Yep, he used to change too. And when it became too much for Jin's mom, his dad just disappeared so she wouldn't suffer anymore. So Jin's like, okay, maybe I need to do the same. That night, he meets Sue. They take a walk, and he tells her they should break up. Just like that, he walks away. No drama, just pain. But before all this, Jin had made Sue a special chair, his goodbye gift. Sue sees it, starts crying, full-on heartbreak mode. And then bam, 10 months fly by. Sue's doing okay now, back to normal. One day at work, her boss is showing her this super dope furniture on a website, raving about the designer. And Sue, her heart stops. She knows that design. It's Jin's, no question. Her boss is like, order this ASAP, but Sue's already halfway out the door. She's made up her mind. She needs to find him. Cut to Jin, now a designer in this place called Zik Republic, speaking the local language like he belongs there. New life, new city, still designing incredible stuff. Sue tracks him down, shows up at his place, and he's like, sorry, no Jin here. Playing it cool, but Sue's not having it. She pleads to come in, says she's from a big studio in Korea, begs him, and when she finally steps inside, boom, there's the proof. Same furniture, same shoes, same vibe, no denying it. She tells him, my company loves your work, but then she drops the act. She's like, stop it, Jin. I've changed. I'm here because I want you. Jin tries to push her away, says she'll get sick again, but Sue's like, this life without you is worse than any illness. And she apologizes. They go for a walk and she tells him everything. How she saw him changing once and how it scared her so bad she shut down. But now, she's ready. She says she can't live without him, and then she's the one who proposes. Jin gives her the same ring he made months ago, and that's it. They're back. Cue happy ending. No more running, no more hiding. Just Sue and Jin living their crazy, beautiful, weirdly magical love story forever.